I wanted to look at the minimum wage proposal now. I know that minimum wage is a policy discussion that the merits of it can be discussed in other forums, but specifically the revenue assumption that the administration is making based on that is something I'd like to discuss. And for a little bit of context, I understand that staff had initiated a conversation immediately following the governor's budget address. An email was sent February 5th, the day after. As of February 10th, the response from the administration said that the department is still reviewing materials and will get back to you as soon as practically possible. And the question was, what is the breakdown of the administration's estimate for the revenues that we would see from the different components of taxes based on the minimum wage proposal? How much of that would come from sales tax? How much of that would come from PIT? And also, what impact would it have on the CNI?
Yes, so in the first year, the total increase would be $133 million. $54 million of that is from the personal income tax, and $79 million of that is from the sales and use tax impact.
Thank you very much. So do those estimates account for the fact that employers would see a difference in their taxable income? When you increase wages, that causes a decrease in an employer's taxable income. So whether that's a pass-through entity, that would be an impact on the PIT. If it's a corporation, then it would be in the CNI. Is that accounted for in those estimates?
Yes, it is. We looked at the impact of both business income and the increased wages and netted that against each other. We're still working on providing a breakdown to you, but that impact is included. We're simply trying to tease out each part of it.
Okay, so does that mean that there's an assumption that businesses would essentially just increase prices to make up the difference rather than seeing a decrease in revenues?
No, we don't have that in there. The sales tax increase comes from increased wages. So when you give 1 million people a pay raise increase, they will then have increased purchasing power and be able to purchase more taxable goods.
Okay, I am a little bit confused how there can be a number but not a breakdown. So I would appreciate that follow-up information because that's a little bit concerning to me. I still think that when we're looking at this, we see a governor's proposal that comes out that has obviously a bunch of aspirational spending ideas, and then we have these policy changes, and it seems that there's a little bit of massaging that was done to make the numbers match the spending as opposed to what the economic reality would be. Because the other thing that we discussed last year with the IFO, and we can get into this maybe with them as well, is historically the analysis from the IFO has always told us that there would be a reduction in the number of available jobs in the Commonwealth based on a policy change like this. Has there been any analysis done on what the IFO is saying as far as a projection of an immediate increase in this case from our current rate to $12 an hour? Would I believe last year the estimate was 33,000 jobs would be lost. What would that impact be on our PIT in the state?
Well, we're not anticipating job losses. Many studies show that there are no job losses associated with the minimum wage. There was a recent article in the New York Times that compared job growth in New York compared to job growth in Pennsylvania, especially along the border. New York has consistently raised its minimum wage over the last few years. What the study found is there was no significant change in job growth either in Pennsylvania or New York as part of the minimum wage.